Hi, everyone. My name is Carey, and I'm a grateful recovering compulsive overeater. And like all of you guys, I take my food off of this wonderful gray sheet. I write it down. I turn it over to my sponsor. I don't read anything else, no matter what. I do that without exception because the gray sheet itself, the greater community, the people on this line, along with my higher power, have helped save my life and given me a life. And I thank you all personally. You're really all very important to me. Thank you. I thought about what I should say today, and it came to me all of a sudden. I saw this in my mind. I don't know if you're familiar. You can see this picture. It's The Scream by Munch. I don't know. Everyone's familiar with it, but you can't see it on here. Uh, and when I saw that, it occurred to me that this is, it just came to my head that this is exactly how I feel. It's like the human condition. Uh, in German, I looked it up. It was originally named Der Schrei der Natur, the scream of nature, and about the human condition. And to me, I looked at it and I translated it as, from my heritage, as oy vey, which is, oh, trouble. And trouble is what I saw in most of my life. I said, well, how am I going to qualify on that? That's not a very positive pitch. That's a gray sheet. And then it came to me, I read something today, and it's right out of the big book. And it says, we're people who normally would not mix. But there exists among us a fellowship, a friendliness, and an understanding which is indescribably wonderful. We are like the passengers of a great liner the moment after rescue from shipwreck, when camaraderie, joyousness, and democracy pervade the vessel from steerage to captain's table. Unlike the feelings of the ship's passengers, however, our joy in escape from disaster does not subside as we go our individual ways. The feeling of having shared in a common peril is one element in the powerful cement which binds us, but that in itself would never have held us together as we are now joined. And this is from the big book, chapter 2, in the first paragraph, page 17. And I realized what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about all of you, the community, and the world, as well as myself. We're in the midst of this COVID virus. And I don't know if everybody in the world will relate to or feel after this is over to that paragraph. But this is, to me, a crystal ball paragraph. You know, sometimes people read the Old Testament, New Testament, and they say, this is a forecast of what's going to happen. God's written the words. Well, the big book has written something here. We are now all together. And this Zoom meeting was 41 different people I would never usually associate with. I laugh now. I live alone. And my social distancing has never been closer. I have more people that I socialize with than I ever did long before this disaster. So it's bringing me together. It's bringing me to an appreciation to where things seem, I started writing things. I've been writing for a long time and journaling, but about this particular experience, I realized that I can only get what I need in relationships with other people. Because when I grew up, genetically and experience, I didn't like the world. I was afraid of it. That this picture that Mr. Munch has put together is fear. It's a person saying, "Oh my God, here I am alone, standing there, where everyone can see me, where God can see me, all of my faults." And I had an answer, and that was substance. And substance first for me was food. Food covered me where I wouldn't see myself and I wouldn't be screaming on the outside like that poor fellow is. But I was screaming on the inside. You couldn't hear me. You couldn't hear me through the laughter of being the class clown. You couldn't hear me through my trying to be successful in school or in work, making money, doing things, doing. I was never a being. And that was my answer to life. Um, like many of us, I'm not that unusual. I have different circumstances. It came to my attention that I was doing something wrong, not because of the way I was feeling, but because God was good enough to get my attention by making me go through certain problems like a stroke, like heart attacks, like 3 divorces, a couple of bankruptcies. Now, that's not to say that I was constantly in the dregs of mud and suffering. A lot of this came out of 5-star hotels, you know, it was up and down, up and down. But nevertheless, it never really got down to where I was looking at myself, either at what people might call my soul, my conscious, my reality. I know we don't talk particularly, you know, we can say you can have a higher power, call whatever you want. In my case, I thought it was appropriate to call it God because that seems to be the word that we use. Beyond that definition, what that means other than I'm not it. I can go along with that. There is a God and I am not him, her, it. That's for sure. But there's a purpose to life because that's the only first thing. You know, the first step is saying, as if there's a higher power, then indeed there must be purpose. Because if there's no purpose, why can't I just wallow in the food, wallow in my alcohol, wallow in my drugs, in my behaviors? I can just do that, you know, no reason not to just, you know, satisfy urges and feelings. But there is a greater purpose. And one way I discovered it is with my daughter. I have a beautiful 20-some-odd-year-old daughter who loves me, and I love her unconditionally. I never knew what that meant. What does unconditional love meant? I never, you know, the word love. Huh. You know, I love you. I love you. Yeah, I love that food. I'm starving to death. These words meant nothing to me. All of a sudden, there's great meaning in what I'm doing. There's great meaning in being with people like you. I see all of these faces in front of me, mostly women, to be honest, with some guys, and that's real good. And by and large, there's a large experience of needing one another and needing the social grouping. I did anorexic type things like running and, you know, limiting my diets in terms of vodka and, you know, things like that. I never went to the far end of that, but I understand it. I know the feelings. I trained to be an alcoholic. You know, I used to go into bars and drink, and I knew when I had enough is when I could put a cigarette out of my hand, and if I didn't feel it, and I had lost all sensation, as well, then I guess I've had enough, because you know my gauge goes from empty to overflowing. There's no, it doesn't move. It goes to 2 stops, and that's true of most of my nature. And nature is not wrong. It probably goes back to, you know, genetics and caveman times that, you know, the person who really wants to get something needs to get it right away, because if you didn't eat it right away, the chances are you're going to starve tomorrow. So get as much as you can now. Well, that was okay back then. Like it was okay in Europe, where my parents grew up, or my mother grew up, to eat a plowman's dinner because you were a plowman. You went out, you worked, you did it. Here, most of us, or I sit on my butt. I do something with my brain, or I talk, or I walk
Carey,
my
10 minutes.
car. Thank you. So it's different. It's different. I have to overcome the genetics, the habit, in order to live in today's world. I have to overcome my fear of working these computers and these numbers. And, what's your password? I said, who the F knows what my password is? I put it in and said, verify it. How do you verify it? What do you do? Oh, I hit the wrong number. Let's go back again. Let's start again. Well, should I pick up my computer and throw it against the wall? That's my initial reaction. And if I wasn't in this program, this entire apartment I'm living in would be covered with broken things, because that's the way I treated life. If I couldn't get the satisfaction, I broke it, whether it was a computer or a marriage. So I do want to thank you. I know this is not a normal qualification, but please take it from me that I've done all the things that you've done, gone through all the diets that you've gone through. I can list them if you want. Give me a call. I'll tell you. I have lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I have undergone surgery. I've been taking a lap band in and out. I qualify, but I qualify at being just another bozo on this bus. That's all I am. And I may be a different flavor, but hey, we're all different flavors. So I thank you for allowing me to share. I would ask a favor from someone. Again, my computer ability and knowledge. The computer I'm talking about cannot pick up all of your phone numbers and things that you put into chat. If somebody would copy it and send it to me, email or message it, I'd really appreciate it. And I thank you all for listening, and I hope I haven't bored too many people. And if I have a good night's sleep well.